Hello and good evening or morning, whatever. Care. Welcome to another episode of POD420 of 1. This is your host, Jimmy. Today's episode is going to be on religion. So, if you're religious, either stay tuned for information or leave now because you're going to end up hating this podcast. So, you've got options. Anyway, my main subject on this is why are allowing this to go on? This meaning religion. I mean, take out the three bad ones, or as some people want to say, the most popular ones, you still have some left over. And I don't understand the need to grasp for straws on these things. We live in the information age. Anything and everything mystical can be refuted. Literally everything. And what can't, scientists are working on. Would you rather believe some random guy convincing you, yeah, drink this glass of water? You'll love it. You're going to get everything out of it that you never have gotten from any other glass of water before. Or would you rather listen to the scientist standing next to him going, no, he put rat poison in there? I'm sorry, but I'm going to err on the side of safe. Plus, you get to save your money by not having to deal with that. My biggest complaint about religion and people who follow religion is they are the quintessential, his name is Ostrich, there we go. The proverbial ostrich that's constantly its head in the ground thinking that it's safe from outside external forces. Well, that's not the case. All religions are pretty much their final death throes. At least they have to be by now. A research paper when I was in college, and we got to pick the topic. So, of course, me being me, I picked atheism, as in the rise of atheism over time. My predictions have so far come to fruition. As of 2030, we'll check again and see how that worked out. But chances are what's happening already is going to exceed my predictions. I think by 2030 that non-affiliated people will make up a really large of the United States. People need to understand their religions weren't the first, but you can go back through history and see where this religion got this idea, this religion got that idea, and the fact that all the three major religions, which are in root Abrahamic religion, all happen within 100 miles of in a area from Israel. I mean, come on, people. Plus, if you actually was encounter a Jesus today, you couldn't even open your door for him because he would look like a hairy Middle Eastern dude. Christians got this idea that Jesus was some kind of white dude. No, sorry. If he was real, he'd be brown. Also, his name wouldn't be fucking Jesus. His name was mistranslated from Yeshua, which actually turns out to be, instead of Jesus Christ, it should be Josh Christ. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well, but create the truth. And I try to say that too derogatorily, but I don't know if that's a word. I just made that shit up. But it's true. They don't like to think. If they did, they wouldn't be Christians, or at least they wouldn't be fanatical as some are. And they don't like to read. I'm making sweeping sweeping assumptions since I can't speak. That's what happens when you take too many bong hits right before you read. That and cotton mouth. I'll have to solve that here in a minute. I'm making big sweeping assumptions here, but you can't tell me a science-minded person easily fit what they know to be true alongside of blind faith. It doesn't work. And that's one of the many reasons why I left religion, because I had an overview of how the universe worked. Now, I knew about evolution, I knew about the Big Bang, and I tried hard to try to somehow fit those two together, and they couldn't. So if you're a Christian and you say, oh yeah, I believe in evolution, okay. If you're a Christian and say you believe in the Big Bang, same reaction. It's cognitive dissonance. I have no better way to explain it. My problem with religion mostly is, well, two big things. Number one, the biggest one, is the indoctrination of children. You're teaching children at a very young age that there is a potentially vengeful being that's always watching you. Constantly. Isn't that a little fucked up? You're telling a child, look, don't ever be creative, don't ever, show any emotions or possibly ill behavior because God may send and destroy you, then send you to hell. This is what you're telling your kids. If you're bad, you go to hell. That's like telling your small child, if you're bad, I'm gonna dig a grave out in the backyard and bury you alive in it. I mean, literally, that's kind of a 1-to-1 in a child's brain. You're giving them an emotional scar before they even should understand what that is. Anyway, my second is willingly disregarding science for faith. Yeah, I've seen several posting memes, whatever, and I've actually seen it in real life where churches actually advocate faith over facts. I guess not too many people see the absolute danger in that. We are in the information age. We should not be disregarding facts and science for warm, fuzzy feelings, deeply personal convictions. It doesn't make sense. In a lot of ways, religion is kind of the all for a lot of stupid things. And for some reason, we're still allowing this shit to happen. If all the executives of Microsoft were busted fucking all children, would there still be a Microsoft? Because I know every one of the executives would have gotten beaten. Hey, another message on my phone. Wow, fantastic. Anyway, no. Members of Microsoft would have been probably raped and killed in prison. So there would be Microsoft. But yet there's a Catholic Church that spans the entire globe with immense amounts of wealth. And then you've got the Muslims on the other side of the fence, who the preachers and the bigwigs get to keep toys and fun stuff, and same MO, except for instead of being small children, now it's small children. And with Judaism, same, it's all the same thing. And that's why we just need to stop doing this. Religion is a cancer. Religion is doing to humans what humans are doing to the planet. Look at it that way. Thankfully, as a species, I think smart enough to start disregarding the religion more and more. We will get that smart with our planet as well. Time will tell. But a good segue for yet another Christian thing. And once again, sweeping generalities, so calm down. I've actually heard of a lot of Christians, and even in my church heard, well, what does it matter? God's going to call us up to heaven before that happens anyway. That's another dangerous attitude to take. I'm going to go ahead and just dump a bunch of oil in my front yard. What does it matter? God's going to take us up to heaven anyway. So in other words, that is willfully stupid and dangerous. So that's why stupid shit like that. I mean, if you're lazy and that's just what you want to do, fine. Don't use religion for it, and hopefully you'll be paying a hefty fucking fine for that. But I'm just tired of religions trying to dictate what the rest of us can and cannot do. They want to teach religion in school. Whose religion do you want to be taught in school? Because at this point, I'll advocate for Satanism. Because what's fair, We even have on our currency, in God we trust. We used to have just e pluribus unum, which means out of many one. Which is a better motto for the United States to have? Something very subjective and should be private, or something that's all encompassing and binds us together under a common thread, which is we are all United States citizens. But it seems like, with having that on the dollar bill, if you don't believe in God, then apparently you're not a patriot. Apparently you don't love where you live. There's a lot of patriots who are atheists, who are not affiliated with anything. And that's fine. I am not all that patriotic. And you'll see why in one of my earlier videos about the concentration camps. So if you're wondering why I'm not very patriotic, go check that one out and then come back to this one. Religion's had its run. Religion was our first attempt at trying to understand things. We got it wrong. You don't need to sacrifice virgins so it'll rain. There is no causal connection between those two. They are mutually exclusive. So now that we've ascertained all the stupidity in religion, all the things that should have just gone away already, why not just throw it all overboard? Get rid of the actual religion. Replace it with another tradition. There's a lot of people out there that just really love the tradition. Okay, so let's make a new one. You can keep Christmas and all this other stuff, and because it's fun, but let's make new traditions. Things that don't have to rely on the Bible. Things that maybe will just inherently help the earth. Instead of cutting down a tree and putting it in your house to let it die and possibly burn up your house. And maybe we will have things that hold more reverence for one another in nature. Maybe a day where you just go out and shake people's hands. It would be a day just for that. If you were afraid to do it before, this would be the day to do it. And that way you can meet people, meet your neighbors, meet people in your community that, maybe you wouldn't have ever talked to before. Something like that. I think that would be a great tradition to have. I've seen that shit work in church. Get up and shake hands with your neighbor. I'm sure anybody that's gone to church has heard that exact phrase. So why don't we do this as a community? That's why people go to church. From what I understand is the sense of community. So let's give that sense to everybody. Don't hoard it in some place that begs for your money. Let's make a tradition that's free. Go out, talk to a neighbor, shake their hand, get to know them. Go downtown, meet and greet somebody. I think that's a better tradition. Let's work on traditions that don't separate us. Let's work on traditions that put us together, complete one another. There's different types of people out there, and there's a reason why. It's because we all fit together like a really crazy, almost dysfunctional puzzle. But it works. And I think if we had those connections with one another, we would be better as a species. Because right now, especially in this period of time, everything is about separation. This side did this side did that. Just shut the fuck up, shake hands with people, get to know them. Especially in this time period right now, everything is separation. And because of all this, we're ignoring some really big problems. And I think that if we were to learn about one another, find out each other's motivations and what we can do for one another, I think even the assholes like Mitch McConnell, I think if he had to meet some of the people that are affected by his decisions, we would be better off. So let's replace stupid traditions with great traditions. Maybe these traditions of pulling people back together will finally help us solve these big issues. Because right now we're getting fuck all done, even just as communities. So let's try to get back to that post 9/11 patriotism and solidarity. Maybe not with the end result of killing people, but in the end result of healing our people. I don't give a fuck about the nation. I don't. I honestly don't. I give a fuck about the people. So let's heal the people with good traditions. That's just one. You guys might have different ones. Please litter the comment sections with ideas that you have. Or if you think I'm stupid, go ahead and say that too. I don't care. I want to hear what you guys have to say because you're taking the time to listen to what I have to say. So I think being reciprocal is the only honorable thing to do. So any of my videos you hear me talking, feel free to lay into me because you don't grow without some fire. And that's another thing, self-improvement. Let's create traditions on that. I know there's already all these weird hippie, let's walk to the forest, things like that. But, let's try to make it a little less hippie and a little bit more mainstream, something where even stubborn people will be attracted to. I don't know. Just something to replace the bad with the good. Because obviously some people need those things. So let's give it to them. Let's package it in a better package with better material. Because people deserve it. They don't deserve what they go through with religion. I had a whole list of other things I wanted to talk about as far as religion. I actually have a website up called Skeptics Annotated Bible. Go ahead and search that if you want to keep up with me. I clicked on the section called Cruelty and Violence in the Bible. And it's a fairly long list. And one of the things when I start quoting these to Christians, just to kind of bring it to their attention that their book isn't as wonderful as they thought, they're always like, well, that's old Exodus and Genesis stuff. Well, your Bible has both parts in it, so I'm assuming that your God doesn't want you to split the books in two. So there you go. So I'm going to try to find a couple. Like number 578 on here, which is 1 Kings 2:24-25. Solomon has his brother murdered. That's in your Bible. And Solomon's supposedly a big dude. I know he appears a lot in Masonic tradition, so that's fun. Yeah, it's a fascinating. I hope that you're looking at the same list that I am, because I don't think I'm going to go into too much detail on it. But if you are looking at it and scrolling through, it's like you're not seeing fun stuff, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. It's like even your holy book is fucking horrible. Most of them are that way. I mean, do you think that you can pull off any of the shit in the Bible nowadays? And people are like, well, you got to put it in proper context. No, you don't got to put it in proper context. You can't really take this in and out of context. You really can't. Because raping and killing slaves, children, women, etc., is really never okay. You know, there's universal wrongs in the Bible, and they're talked about in the Bible as if they're almost gratuitous. It doesn't make sense. So I implore you, especially Christians, if you don't want to read your Bible front to back like I did, then at least take a few minutes to check over the Skeptics Annotated Bible. Go ahead and click on good stuff first, because that's what I would do if I was trying to protect my beliefs. But please go to the cruelty and violence one. Compare how long the lists are. And for extra credit, look up how each religion kind of plagiarizes the other one, and you're going to see some pretty interesting connections. So I'm going to leave you guys with that because I'm at almost 25 minutes. It's probably going to be less than that by the time I chop this down. Yeah, so please don't take my word for any of these. Yeah, I rant a lot and probably said a lot of stupid shit. I want people to research their own shit. If you're going to fight this hard for your religion, if you're going to get upset at every trespass anybody has on your religion, then why not research it a little bit deeper? Take the time and verify these passages in your family Bible, and you'll find that it's not wrong. Your book is horrible. All the religious books are pretty much horrible. So think, guys. Just think. That's all we're asking you to do. Take a few minutes, reflect. Who do you hate and why? Who's telling you to hate? I'm sorry, but as an atheist, I only hate willingly stupid people. And I don't even like using that. I don't actually hate them. I'm disappointed by them. Take the time, do a little bit of research, and if you don't want to, I'll leave the link below on the exact page that I was on, so you can look at what I was talking about. So anyway, people, I think I'm going to end it there. Anyway, guys, have a good day, good evening, whatever you're doing. As usual, be kind to those less fortunate, and peace.